Theory 7. Rosie and the Railway Show and the New North. Now, I've talked about this theory in the past. Hell, I even mentioned it to Ian McHugh in our emails earlier. But basically, this is what my headcanon is for how Rosie got her red repaint in canon, while still trying to stay consistent with the continuity of the series. So, since the Great Railway Show was the last time we saw Pink Rosie, and she would later become a shunter at Vicarstown, I wanted to try and figure out a way of working this into the plot. This episode would take place during the Great Race. All the engines are talking about the Great Railway Show. We start out with Pink Rosie in that her shunting yard, where she sees a sign for the Great Railway Show, and much like Thomas, she really wants to go, but all the other engines put her down. So, to prove that she can be really useful, Rosie decides to take a passenger train up to Upstead Castle, which we actually see in the Great Race. At the castle, Rosie meets Stephen, who says that he thinks he knows who's going to the railway show. At first, Rosie thinks he's talking about herself, but then he clarifies that it's in fact him who's been chosen by the Earl to go to the Great Railway Show, and Rosie feels sad. This would also help address why we actually see Stephen at the Great Railway Show in the movie. The next morning, Rosie is back in the shunting yard on the day of the Great Railway Show. She's sad because she thinks someone like Thomas is going to be chosen for the Great Race. Just then, Stanley comes racing in and tells Rosie that the Fat Controller wants to see her straight away. Something about Thomas being in a crash or something, and the Fat Controller wants Rosie to take his place. I also thought it'd be nice to give these two a scene together. Rosie is excited and races off to Knapford. She thinks that she's going to the Great Railway Show. However, it turns out the Fat Controller wanted Rosie to pull Thomas's local train after him being in the crash with Norman. That's right, Rosie thought she was going to the railway show, but nope, she was just being asked to cover Thomas's drain. Poor Rosie. Later that day, we see Rosie pulling the local with Annie and Clarabelle, while Thomas is up at Steamworks. I kind of like the idea of giving these three a scene together, since I don't think they ever had one before. The three continue along the line just past the Steamworks when suddenly they hear Thomas coming up the line. "Thomas!" exclaim Annie and Clarabelle as he passes them. "What are you doing here?" asks Rosie as Thomas races by. Thomas shouts back that he's taking Gordon's safety valve to the Great Railway Show, leaving Rosie stunned. Not only is she not going to the Great Railway Show, but now she's doing Thomas's job too, while he's going away himself. Later we see Rosie pull into Vicarstown, where we see Donald and Douglas pulling Gordon's Express, again paying off their scene here from the Great Race. Rosie explains